All right, lesson 75 is comparing decimals. I'm going to show you the way that they have it on here, and then I'm also going to show you my favorite way with comparing on place value versus on a number line. So they have them on a number line here. So they are comparing Alfie found 0.2 or 0.2 of a dollar, and Gemma found 0.23 of a dollar. Which friend found more money? To compare decimals, you can use a number line. So locate each decimal on the number line, and you can't see these very well, but here's the 0.2. I'm going to make it a little bit bigger. And here's 0.23, because each tenth is split up. Look at this number line is now, we're like blowing up number lines. So here's the 0. 1 would be way off the screen, but here's 0.1, 0.2, 0.3, and in between each of those tenths are 10 little hashtag or hash marks that split the tenth into 10 parts, so that between 0 and 1 we would have 100 little hash marks. So here would be 0.2 or 20 hundredths or 2 tenths. And here is 0.23, which is 23 hundredths. And if you can't like imagine 20 hundredths and 23 hundredths, you guys can figure out that 23 is bigger than 20. So you don't even probably need to see it on the number line. But let's just see. Sometimes when you see stuff that's easy on a number line, then when you get to the harder ones, you're like, oh, I could use a number line for this. So they show you easy stuff and you learn how to do it the easy way, so that when stuff gets harder, you can vision or use that strategy on a harder problem. So let's look down here. Compare decimals, you can compare equal size parts. So write 2 tenths as a decimal in the hundredths. 0.2 is 2 tenths, which is equivalent to 20 hundredths. So they are switching and saying that because you're looking at 0.2 instead of 0.20, it's easier to add that 0 at the end, so that each one is compared with 2 digits after the decimal point. So 0, I'll write it here, 0.20 and 0.23. So now we have 2 digits after the hundredth, or after the decimal point. So we have 20 hundredths and 23 hundredths. So 23 hundredths is greater than 20 hundredths. So 0.23 is greater than symbol 0.2. I'm sorry, I'm having an issue with my eye right now. It is watering a lot. So if it looks like I'm crying, I'm not. All right, this is another way that I like to compare decimals. So let's look at number 1, and I'm going to go up here. I like to look at place value. So it's like when you were comparing hundreds and thousands and 10,000s, you kind of looked at place value, and I like to do that also. So what I do is take 2 of the decimals that I'm comparing and put them into a place value chart. So both of these decimals in number 1 have 0 in the ones place. So I put a 0 already. And then this one is 17 hundredths and 13 hundredths. And even though you say hundredths, you don't put the 17 in here. You put the 1 in the tens place and 7 in the hundreds place. 1 in the, just like the number 13 and the number 17, you don't put both of them in the tens place. Okay, so then looking by place value, we're gonna go, you start, if they both have 0 in the ones place, the next place you look is the tenths. So they both have the same number of tenths. So far they're equal. Then you gotta go to the hundredths place. Whichever one is bigger, 7, it's going to be the bigger fraction. So 17, we know that 17 is bigger than 13. I know this is going to be easy for you. It's just you got to do the easy in order to get to the hard. Okay, so this is bigger. There's my greater than sign. 17 hundredths is greater than 13 hundredths. All right, I'm going to undo. Okay, rewrite that part. All right, 0.8, so I'm going to write that over here, 0.8, and then 0.08, I'll put the points down. 0, 8. And sometimes it's easy to just like fill in that extra circle when you can fill in anything after the number, after the decimal, or the place that is your last place when you're going to the right of the decimal point. Okay, so tenths, nothing in the ones place. Tenths, this one has an 8 in the tenths place, and this one has nothing in the tenths place. So we're done. We don't even have to look at the rest of them. The one with the 8 in the tenths place is bigger. So that's this one. Okay, if we wanted to look at it on a number line like they did, if we go 0.8, change my color, 0.8, here's 0.1, 0.2, 0.3, 0.4, 0.5, 0.6, 0.7, 0.8. Here would be 0.8. 0.8. And 0.08 would be before we even get to 0.1. It'd be like right here. So definitely 0.8 is bigger. It's like if you had 80 cents or 8 cents. So 80 cents is bigger. All right. Last one. Let's Okay, this is the last one I'm going to do on this side. So 0 and 36. So 0 and 36, 3 tenths and 6 hundredths. 0 and 63. So 63. So they both have 0 ones. Okay, same so far. Then we go to the tenths place. This one has 3 tenths and this one has 6 tenths. So already this one's bigger. Doesn't matter what's in their hundredths place. Okay, this one has 6 tenths. It's like this one has 6 dimes and 3 pennies, and this one has 3 dimes and 6 pennies. So those dimes are worth more, right? All right, so 63 is bigger, and that is that way. All right, if we were looking at it on the number line, 3 tenths and 6 hundredths, so that's going to be about right there. 0.36, and the bottom one, we're going to the 6 tenths. Here's 5 tenths, 6 tenths plus 3 more hundredths would be about right there. So bottom one is bigger, bottom bigger. All right, that looks good. Let's see what the next page brings. Hold on. Some of this, I kind of want to leave the chart on the side. So I'm going to do it this way. Oop. How come? That's weird. Okay. Let's see what the next page brings, if it's the same or if we need to look at it a little bit more. Same. Use the number line to compare, write true or false. Okay, let's look at one of those. So they're saying that 0.8 is greater than 0.78. So let's look at that on the, oh darn, place value chart. Okay. There we go. So 0.8, so 0.8 and 0.78. I'm going to fill this in. So now we have 80 hundredths and 78 hundredths. They're saying, or 8 tenths versus 78 hundredths. So if you didn't have this 0 here, it might look like, oh, well, 78 is bigger than 8. That's tricky. That is tricky. That's why it's kind of helpful to fill in that hundredth spot. So then you got to compare decimals where it's the same amount of digits after the decimal point. That's tricky. So that's why you have to go by place value, because 78, yeah, looks bigger than 8. And we could say, that's not right. But because the 8 is in the 10th place and this one has a 7 in the 10th place, the 8 in the 10th place is worth more. It's like 8 dimes, and this one only has 7 dimes with 8 pennies. And so 8 dimes is more. That's 80 cents. All right, so That one is true. So you know what? I'm going to allow you to just write a T for true, and then you want to write an F for false, that's fine. Even though it would be awesome if you could learn to spell those words easily, but because I have a hard time writing, I'll let you, writing with this little tool, I'll let you do T and F. All right, 0.4 is greater than 0.84. Let's see. Let me erase these. 0.4. So that would be putting a 4 in the tenths place. So that's like 4 dimes. 0.84 in the hundredths, tenths and hundredths. And then if we looked at it on the number line, 0.4 would be right here. And 0.84, 6, 7, 8, and then almost to the middle would be about right here. So this time, yes, 84 is bigger than 4, but 84 hundredths is also bigger than 40 hundredths. All right, so here we go. So is that true? No, that is false, because in the tenths place, the 4 is not more than the 8. So this is false, wrong, nope, bad, rah. Okay. All right, you can figure out the rest. These are the same, but they're saying that some of them are equal. And so you're gonna have to figure out if those are equal. And then these are just a word problem comparing greater than, less than, or equal to. It does say write the inequality. So you need to put those numbers. So you can put 0.7, leave a space, and 0.49. And then you need to write which one is greater, if 0.7 is less than, greater than, or equal to 0.49. All right, and same with this, which grid has the greater part shaded? So you're gonna have to think about, what would this 0.03 look like on a hundreds grid? And then what would 0.3 look like on a hundreds grid? And then which one is the one? You can put the number that's says greater. So which one has the greatest part shaded? It says that this grid is blue with the 0.3, and this grid is red with, 0.03, and then 0.3 is red. So you can put the color on which one is greater. Okay, so you should be able to do that.